Greetings everyone, this is Himo Kim, the gaming fanatic, and I have to say, this beta is a huge flop. Nah, I'm just kidding. This game is fantastic in every way, with a lot of improvements that I've experienced from the second day of the beta. Now I already mentioned this on my tweet for those who follow me on Twitter, which I recommend following me because I post most of my updates on there. But from my recent tweet, I mentioned one of my biggest concerns of Jump Force was the controls, because Spike Chunsoft's J-Star's Victory had one of the most unresponsive controls in the game, with uninteresting gameplay and frustrating online matches. And I'm okay for those who wouldn't agree, because I also believe the game has its moments, but it wasn't a good J-Stars game. Most of my friends agreed, and a lot of us were disappointed when we first played it on PS3. So when I got to try out the beta of Jump Force, the controls were silky smooth, and no longer had those gosh damn tank controls that were in J-Stars. I was able to move freely and input the commands I wanted my character to do. Speaking of inputs, this game has a lot more accessible combos, and you can follow it up with either a rush, heavy, or throw in any order. But you don't just want to have your standard attacks. You can even hold on to either a rush, heavy to do a smash attack, which gives you armor, and can beat those who keep spamming the rush attack, which will either launch or hard knock down your opponent depending which angle you launch them by holding the left thumbstick up or down. Now another thing in Jump Force is its team-based system. I know many have discussed about the issues with the one team life bar, but I personally love the idea. I had several online matches where the fights didn't feel so uneven or unmatched for each team. There were even moments where my life bar was at 1%, and I managed to bring my opponent's health bar down as the same as mine on the second round. So they really felt like there was a neutral game, and got me excited when moments like this happen online. So far for the new visuals of Jump Force, which is being run on Unreal Engine 4, that makes the characters and world much more immersive, and rather than the typical cel-shaded graphics that we get in almost every anime game. Now I know for those who don't like this idea, because comments I read in some gameplay videos stating that it makes them look like action figures, but for me personally, it makes me love that even more. It gives me that Smash Bros vibe when all the iconic video game characters are trophies then coming to life in Melee. The characters of J-Stars are merging in the real world, so it makes perfect sense why they look like this. Of course it's going to look awkward at first. What did you want them to look like? The anime version of Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Maybe the mods will make a difference. When it's released on Steam, of course. The music in Jump Force really caught my attention, especially in the stages that you're fighting in. Makes it feel like a cinematic / anime experience. Like, you're really part of the Shonen Heroes world, while Shonen Heroes are part of our world. Just like Marvel, but anime. Now for the bad. Starting off is the frame rate. Thankfully, it was a beta, and mind you, I was only playing this on Xbox One. It kept constantly dropping frames to the point it was looking like a really bad port. Mainly because the amount of players that were joining was causing traffic to the server, so it was slowing a lot of things down. Even my good friend Dark Saiyan was having the same issues when we would have to face other players online. But at the same time, the inputs work really well on the lag, or when it isn't. So the netcode is far from being perfect. Now another huge problem, which I know that other YouTubers have mentioned this before me, was the frame rate during the fights. Such as when Naruto does his ultimate, which butchers the frame rate, and that worries me because if the upcoming roster has something crazier with particles than Naruto's, that's going to hurt the online experience a lot. I personally think they should downgrade a bit of the graphics and particle effects, which would solve the most of the issues that this game is running on. Because it feels like Spike Chunsoft was having too much fun with the Unreal Engine 4. A bit too much, if I say so myself. And one more thing about the all-in experience is please fix the game's round system. And what I mean by this is whoever wins a round, the character is stuck in an endless loop. So I better not have this issue when the full game is released. Finally, the ideas and changes this game really needs in my personal opinion. So like in every fighting game that has a gauge bar, I was impressed by the fact that this game penalties you for abusing the dash buttons multiple times, which if you do, you're screwed. and you have to take this beat down. But personally for me, if people block for too long, the standby bar should be drained down, so that way they can't just sit there and just wait for you to attack all day. Also, can you please make the standby bar linear and under the power gauge, please? I barely noticed it on the bottom corner of the screen because the focus of the gameplay is in the center. It appears when you're using it, and then it vanishes when you don't want to use it. So that could be an issue when you want to take advantage of your opponent, when he keeps spamming the dodge button. What else can make this game much more competitive is how you should be able to angle your smash attack at your opponent. That way they can't predict where they're going to punish you, and it can be a 50-50 situation instead of leaving yourself wide open when they sidestep or ultimate you. I also think this game should have more than one color for every character besides Creative Fighter. There should be at least 12 colors per each character. That way nobody doesn't get confused who is which when you're playing online ranked. Well guys, that's all for today. I will be continuing to work more on video game related content, and I have much more on the way. Also, a special shout outs to Enigma Kage, who also has a strong interest in Jump Force, and plenty of topics to discuss about it. And also trying to build a Jump Force community, which I will definitely be part of. This is Enigma Kim, and I'm tuning out.